What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Monday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great start to the week. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up? What's up? What's up? How are you guys doing? Honestly, I'm doing amazing, man. I feel great. Work's going good. Relationship is going good. And I feel good, you know. I'm in a good place right now. Despite the fact that I just had, you know, a sickness for the 4th time, but you know, forget all that. It's been a minute and I'm happy to be back. I was supposed to do a live today, but we're gonna push that out to tomorrow or the day after, and we're gonna drop this video today. And I wanted to get back into keeping up with the news of what's going on in the system. And honestly, this year, this summer, has been bad for people with bad charges in the Canadian system. It's always bad for people with bad charges, but usually people don't lose their lives, right? Usually it's they smash, they run off the block, and they're protected, right? We live in a system and a country that protects these people, but it didn't work out this summer. So we're gonna start out and we're gonna go to Spring Hill. And if you don't know what Spring Hill is a medium penitentiary in Nova Scotia. I've never done time there. A guy that we did an interview on this channel with is there right now. Hopefully he frees up at some point soon, and hopefully he figures his life out and get it straightened out, because hopefully everybody that goes through a bunch of times realizes that it's not worth it eventually. But not everybody realizes that. Not everybody gets to that point of realization or self-awareness. Sometimes people just, you know, and I was somebody who didn't want to go through that. But at Spring Hill, a man named Charles Mang Poppy, I think that's his name, he was killed because of bad charges. Now, I don't know for sure if that's what got him killed, but right in the article where it talks about him being killed, it says that he's in there for 2 car thefts and a actual interference of somebody under the age of 16. He was killed, so I have to assume that that is the reason that he was killed. Even if it's not the direct reason, it's definitely going to be what is it, like not a mitigating factor, the opposite kind of factor, like an exaggerating factor, makes the situation worse, right? So even if he owed money, or if it was about an argument, or if it was over the phone, ultimately, I'm sure it boils back down to that bad charge, despite the fact the man's only doing 2 years, 7 months, and he would have been out. He has now lost his life, and I don't even want to say rest in peace. If you have bad charges like that, you know, I don't wish death upon anybody, really, you know, because it's not good karmically to be wishing death on others. But do I feel bad? No, I don't. And sometimes I think you get your comeuppance, man. If you decide to victimize somebody like a woman or a child, somebody who is innocent, not involved in criminal activity at all, then you deserve the consequences that come with that. And, you know, it doesn't really matter what it is that you're doing. If it is illegal, there are consequences. And it just so happens that when you do stuff that involves SA, it is violent consequences that you're most likely to face. Now, we're going to jump to Lindsay. And that first homicide happened in June. I saw that the article is from the 7th of June. So I don't know if the homicide happened on the 7th of June, the 6th of June. I have no idea. But this next homicide happened in my bucket, Central East Correctional Center. And 2 guys apparently, allegedly, killed a man named Andre Taillefer. He's like 50 years old, And he was found non-responsive, taken to a hospital, flown to a critical ICU or whatever, and he eventually succumbed to his injuries. They have charged 2 people, one person from Oshawa and one person from Newmarket, my old stomping grounds, where I grew up basically. Now, this person, it doesn't say what they're in for. But what it does say in every article I've read is that he is a multiple time SA offender and rapist. And it said basically that any older female or vulnerable female that he could victimize, he would. He saw himself as a tough guy, as an old school con. This is what the article is saying. Like, he saw himself as an old school bruiser. I don't know if that means one of these guys. Put him up. Put him up. Or if he just sees himself as a tough dude. Apparently had mental health issues. Clearly had mental health issues and lost his life over SA charges. Now, once again, I don't know for a fact that the reason he lost his life is because of the SA charges. Because sometimes guys don't even know. You never know what people know. Maybe he lost his life over a gambling debt. Maybe he lost his life over drugs. Maybe he lost his life over whatever. You never know. And I don't know if this was in PC or if this was in general population. It doesn't specify. But after reading the article and thinking to myself, what happens when I've seen people just with mental health come in on a range? Automatically ridiculed, laughed at, and assaulted. There is no tolerance for crazy, weirdness, mental health. That's why most people with severe mental health issues spend their time in segregation. It sounds brutal, but it would be more brutal for most of them being on range, being assaulted over and over and over again. And sadly, sometimes when you have these circumstances where somebody is so obviously messed up that they shouldn't be in a prison, but they are, and they're not only their safety, but other safety are at risk if they're on range, they're going to spend time in seg. I've seen guys in seg for years because of mental health issues. There was a dude named Calvin, a big Jamaican dude in Lindsay. I've told the story about him before. Crazy as hell. I remember seeing him in the back cell in seg, an 8 seg, which is when you go up in Lindsay. You don't have a cell partner. It's like the more severe seg. But up there, you deal with screamers. You deal with crazy. And I remember cleaning my cell one day and seeing this big bastard. I'm telling you, he's like 6'6", 300 pound, and hates white people with a passion when he's not on his medication. Most of the time, refused to take his medication and was in seg in Lindsay. I remember one day cleaning my cell and he's going, white boy, white boy, white devil, from his cell. He doesn't know me. That cell cracks, I am going to be assaulted. Anyways, back to this story. So, anytime you're in jail or prison, it's dangerous. One of these stories is a prison story. One of these stories is a jail story. But if you go in on bad charges, you're going to exacerbate that danger times 100. And we're in a day now where you can't run from stuff like that. Even if the coppers are on your side, bury your paperwork, and they hide you in population and make people think that you have good charges. Google exists, and if you have serious SA charges and weird charges like that, even if you don't get a lot of the time they're going to post your picture and your charges online, and people will be able to find out about you. Okay, so that's something you need to think about before you go out and do some goofy shit like grape somebody or molest a kid. Like, think about it, right? You are going to experience violence in the very near future. That is going to come for you karmically. And not only are you going to do time for the crime of whatever it is that you do, but the whole time you're in doing that time, your life will be in severe danger. If anybody ever finds out, you will lose your life. And look, we have an integrated federal system. Nobody should have ever known what this guy was in for. Loses his life. Now, like I said, I don't know for sure if that's why he died, but I'm sure it played a role. Guy in Lindsay, they don't even give you paperwork. You know, they could plant you in there easily. Somebody could bury their paperwork and make up some fake charges very easily. But Google and all these other ways, including from crooked guards, exist. And believe me, if you don't think you're on a bad charge, on a goofy charge, the coppers aren't going to tell people, you're out of your fucking minds. I've seen coppers make up fake paperwork on guys that aren't hounds and put it on the range saying they are hounds to get them attacked, okay? I saw it specifically done in Lindsay a few times by one specific officer. She was a savage. She'd make shit up, put stories out on guys that were not true, and hope that they got hurt severely. And that's just part of the way it goes. And you know what is proof of that? In the article, at the end of the article, when it's talking about Andre Taillefer, it says that the guards described him as another dead rape hound. The guards don't respect you. The cons don't respect you. People in society don't respect you. The only people that give you any respect is this new age wave of wokies who are trying to normalize this whole weirdo thing that's going on. But at the end of the day, nobody can protect you. If people find out, you'll be dragged into a room somewhere. Let me give you an example. You'll probably be out in the gym, you know, playing basketball, lifting weights. Somebody will throw you in a sleeper hold or come pull a shank on you, run you into a room, and you could even be tortured. I've seen that happen. Guys just getting smashed for hours and hours and hours. It is a ruthless environment already. If there is a rage that is there for you because of what you've done, oh man, there will be zero empathy, and somebody will be stomping your head behind the toilet with your face in dirty toilet ground, and oh man, it is a terrible existence for somebody. And I used to participate in making it terrible for them, and I enjoyed that very, very much as a victim of it myself. Now, obviously I share my stories with you guys, so you don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I can snap my finger, nobody goes to jail, nobody goes to prison, nobody ever experiences SA, I would do that. But that's not a reality, especially with weirdos out here. That is just part of life. And sometimes you are going to come in contact with people like that. And I would suggest turn the other way and go. Don't put your freedom on the line for somebody like that. But you know, sometimes shit like this happens, you know. You don't know what these guys are doing time for that are getting charged for this. And I bet you, probably not all that much. And I bet you maybe didn't even intend to actually kill dude. You know, maybe they just figured we'll stomp him out, we'll beat the fuck out of him. And now they're looking at a murder charge, you know. And I also blame the feds for that, because these hounds should be segregated, kept away from everybody else, or this assaulting is going to continue and continue, and guys that aren't on those kind of charges are going to continue to do inmate justice and lose their freedom because of it, just because the system doesn't want to protect these guys, because they want rats on the ground. And that's what it is, man. They wanted to integrate the system so they could kill the drug sub-trade, put protective custody guys into the population, and have a bunch of rats with their ears to the ground. You assault one, send them out, they'll send two worse ones in. So you've had to learn how to put the wool over your eyes just to do your time. Sometimes you can't talk to the people on your range. You can't... You know, you don't know, right? You don't know for sure what people are on, but sometimes people just look weird, and you're not even going to give them a chance because you know the shit is integrated, right? This stuff is going to keep happening and keep happening. Look, And it's going to keep happening, right? People are going to keep losing their lives until they separate them and punish these guys the way that they should be, so people don't feel necessary to have to go and do street justice or prison justice. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So, let me tell you though, this isn't only dangerous. Prison and jail isn't only dangerous for headhounds of the pounds and Chester the Hoaker. You know, it's not. It's dangerous for everybody. And sadly, this can happen to somebody who's on a parking ticket. This can happen to somebody who's on a theft charge. This can happen to somebody who's on a homicide charge. It can happen to anybody. And it's not just homicide, it's suicide, it's mental health breakdowns, it's getting caught up in the hamster wheel situation where you're just doing life on the installment plan. You can get caught up in many different situations. Drug addiction. First time I ever tried heroin was in Joyceville. I would have never seen it in the street. At that time, nobody I knew in the street or the community did anything like heroin. Maybe pop some perks and some oxys, but heroin? I did it the first time in the Ville, and it started me on a treacherous, years-long battle with addiction. Not to mention years-long battle with the hamster wheel and believing that I can do better because they convince you you can. I'm telling you. Every time you see your PO, and not in all cases, but in most cases, anytime you go up for a parole hearing or anything, all they do is tell you what's wrong with you. They never point out what's right with you. And after hearing that year after year after year after year after year, you start to believe it. You start to believe it. Your mind is poisoned. You can't do anything else. Don't put yourself there in the first place. Don't give them a chance to manipulate you into giving your life away and giving them job security. Be your own person. Stay out, man. You know, you see what's going on in the world right now. It is not the time to be locked up. And like I said, anytime you get locked up, something like this can happen to you. You know, I know these guys are alleged hounds, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean only hounds get attacked. It just means that this time hounds got attacked. You guys have heard plenty of stories in the past about homicides, nothing to do with essays. So keep that in mind. Don't go to prison. If you're dealing with drug addiction, do what you can to get away from it. If you have a loved one dealing with drug addiction, reach out, tell them you love them. Don't enable them, but tell them if they're doing the right thing, that support is there. If you have a family member that's doing time and you really haven't been in their life, reach out and tell them, listen, I know that we haven't been together, I haven't been super supportive, and it upsets me that you're giving your life away to the system. But if you're doing things right in your life, I want you back in my life. Sometimes you just need that little tiny bit of belief to motivate you to do better. And that's what I needed. And look at me now. And if I can be here, anybody can be here. Love y'all. The New Man Clark.